What's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Stock Talk, the series I make whenever I feel it's necessary, where we cover some exciting news and price action in regard to some of the stocks we've been talking about on the channel. In today's case, you already know what we're talking about. We have to talk about our good old COVID-related biotech stocks. You guys know the deal, it's in the title, but we will go down the line here on our watch list. Vaxart, Moderna, Novavax, Inovio, and Sorrento. Before we dive into the charts and news, I will ask you guys to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it, or if you're invested in any of these stocks. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and check out my complete portfolio and daily newsletter. First link in the description if you're at all interested. All right, so Vaxart, I did just post that video specifically on Vaxart prior to this one, so I'm not going to spend much time on it. I'm pretty much just going to reiterate my main points in regard to price action on these guys. So Vaxart got an analyst upgrade, saw some crazy price action today. Yeah, all I'm going to say here, I assume you guys watched that. If not, go watch that for a more in-depth price analysis. But my price target as of right now is at least this previous high that it set back in June 26 when it was initiated to Operation Warp Speed at about, $14, call it $14.30. I expect it to at least come back up to that region. We might see a pullback once it does try to retest that. But I personally think we're phase 2 initiated, baby. This is wave 2. Wave 1, pop, capitulation, you guys know the deal if you stuck around. Wave 2, I think, is definitely going to get to, is definitely going to exceed its previous highs. I think we can get to $16. Again, we will go back to the 5-year charts. I'll show you guys my two price targets. So we did spend a lot of time around here back in late 2016, so I think $16, roughly $16 is a good price target once it exceeds the $14 mark, the previous high mark from June. And then beyond that, if we do see a straight up explosion, which I wouldn't be surprised by, considering, again, Vaxart's market cap is only about $900 million right now. Still super small compared to a lot of these other stocks, but again, Vaxart is a younger company. They're not as far along in the development process as a lot of these other players. But again, there's a lot of room for growth. The smaller the market cap, the more potential for rapid growth, okay, or fall, or the more potential for a rapid move up or down. Okay, so if it does cross like the $16 region, I wouldn't be surprised to see it come up to the $22 region that it did touch back in April and September of 2016. So those are my two price targets in regard to Vaxart. Again, I don't want to spend much time on this because I just made that video. So $14, like 1440, 1640, and then like $22. Okay, so I will keep you guys posted. Of course, super exciting times in this sector. I'm so excited to be able to like share experiences like this with you. Again, I said this in the last video. I'm gonna say it again. Like it's hard sometimes when you're dealing with such a volatile sector, and this entire market's volatile, but just practicing strong hands in having those strong hands pay off, having the fact that you were able to take the red days for amazing days, amazing green days like this, really pays off and really speaks to your character as a trader. Okay, so I'm pumped to be sharing this with you guys. Super exciting times in the sector. You know, I'll keep you posted. Let's move on to Moderna. Okay, so let's make this look a little less crazy right now, but zoom into this. We're on the weekly, that's why. Let's go to the 3-month on Moderna. Okay, so Moderna kind of broke out of this little wedge that we had drawn here, but I mean, Moderna is moving up following some news that we're going to cover right now. Okay, so you guys know, established fundamentals move into technicals. Moderna surges 18% on report. The stock will join the NASDAQ 100 and as analysts predicts 45% upside. The NASDAQ on Monday announced that Moderna will be added to its NASDAQ 100 index in July. So that in my mind is the primary catalyst for this move up. There was also an analyst upgrade, but an initiation to the NASDAQ 100, that's a huge deal, especially for a pharmaceutical company like Moderna. That's a big deal, and I think rightfully so that they saw this jump in price action today. Then a lot of the sector followed. So shares of Moderna surged as much as 18% on Monday. On Monday, Jefferies initiated coverage of Moderna with a buy rating and a price target of $90 on the potential that the pharmaceutical company's COVID-19 vaccine is approved. Okay, so the reason for Vaxart's move up today was solely an analyst upgrade. And again, you guys, take analyst upgrades with a grain of salt. You never know if they're incentivized or not to give these stocks a good buy rating or not. They could be holding a bag. They could have some sort of incentive. Never assume that, or always kind of assume that. Always be skeptical of that. Never assume it though. But just know that that is a a potential factor. Okay, so again, it did get a great analyst upgrade. $90 is a solid price target, but again, I think the NASDAQ 100 listing is a huge deal for Moderna, and I'm super excited to see that. Good for them, good on them. So let's take a look at these charts. I mean, analyst upgrade to $90. I definitely wouldn't be surprised to see a $90 Moderna. What was this high we set back in late May? It's been a while. Like I'm excited to see, because if you guys have been watching the recent stock talks, I've been talking so much about how Moderna is just doing nothing right now, which is kind of bullish because it's not selling off, at least, which is good, following no news. But again, this entire sector is so news driven. Like the littlest bit of good news will be a significant catalyst. And again, I'm not saying this is small news, but again, it doesn't take much decent news to send these stocks into a completely change your mind on these stocks. And that's what Moderna proved after today. Enlisted in the NASDAQ 100, big deal. Analysts upgraded $90. That kind of coincides with what I'm thinking. I still think Moderna has the possibility, because it never really broke this downtrend, to be honest. Like, it kept staying in that. I wouldn't be surprised to see Moderna once again test this uptrend that I've had drawn on this chart for literally months now. So let's see. Like, I think that's a pretty conservative area. I wouldn't be surprised to see Moderna come up and retest this once again at about $110 over the course of the next couple weeks. I mean, that's a very, very optimistic price target and analysis. But I mean, if momentum falls on the side, and if the general equity markets do see some red, like I think they will, like we saw, like closing the day out, the general equity markets kicked off the day very strong and then fell off a cliff pretty much. And again, banks announce earnings tomorrow. That's very crucial. You guys keep an eye out for that. The banks really are one of the pillars of the financial markets as a whole, not even just the stock market. So the banks' earnings over the course of this week are very telling as to just the general state of the economy. And I have said this before, and you guys would know this and have observed this. I'm going to refocus my face. You guys would have observed this if you've been paying attention to the sector for a while. But when the general equity markets don't do too well, when they see red, these act as a hedge to that. And money from the general equities, in my opinion, and I've seen this enough times to feel confident saying this to you guys, money from general equities, when they're doing bad, will come out of equities and flow into stocks that people see potential in, like these biotechs. Okay, so I believe that this sector does act as a hedge to the general equity markets in a sense. So again, if it's a win-win. Like, I'm super bullish on this sector fundamentally from just what developments they're making and the tangible progress they're making as like pharmaceutical vaccine companies. But I'm also confident in them as a hedge to general equities. Okay, so Moderna, again, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm only going off trend lines here. They've been the most valuable to me of any, like, indicators. Cool if you're day trading, but like, just in this market, like, just these general trend lines have done so much in my eyes. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised. Again, very bullish, very optimistic, maybe overly optimistic claim to get to the $110 region, but let's see if it happens. Okay, so as always, keep you guys posted. Novavax. Okay, so Novavax, I'm very bullish on. Like, I went from not very bullish on Novavax to super bullish on Novavax over the course of not very long. So Novavax kind of broke out of this bull flag right here, like that I drew. I thought it broke down, and I was expecting it to pull back a little more, but it actually broke out of this bull flag again. Novavax and Inovio, not covering any news. That piece on Moderna is the only thing I'm going to cover, because again, I touched on the Vaxart news in the last video. But Novavax and Inovio, guilty by association in the best of ways. Again, a lot of times sectors, although they're competitors, although these companies are directly competing with each other for a valid vaccine or treatment or whatever, they do move in unison. So when one does well, a lot of times just guilty by association in a good way, and again, it can work the other way, like actually guilty by association, which like that term was initially meant for. So like, you see green in one, you see significant green, I should say, in one. A lot of times you'll see green in the others. You see red in one, sometimes you'll see red in the others. Okay, so most of the time things move in unison within a sector. Okay, so Novavax, again, today it did breach that previous high that it set back in or just about a week ago. So I think, I mean, I would be surprised to not see Novavax move up again. If you guys remember the last stock talk, I did set that $150 target. So hashtag Novavax 150. I think that we can easily, I shouldn't say easily, definitely shouldn't say easily, but my money is on the fact, know that, you guys, my money is literally on the fact that Novavax will hit $150 over the course of I'll say a month. Okay, so a month, that's a pretty, I mean, I think that's a general price target, especially considering how fast and how volatile everything's acting within the markets right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see a $150 Novavax stock. We are currently sitting at a $6 billion valuation. That would send the market cap to roughly 10 bill if we could hit $150, give or take, So I mean, my money's on it. I don't know what else to say. I think we're going to hit $150. Again, I'll show you guys my reasoning for that in case you didn't catch the last ones. $150 is an area that Novavax spent a lot of time around. Okay, so it bounced around this area for a while. Again, 150, big psychological even. It spent a lot of time in 2015 and 2016 around this area as a line of resistance and both support a little bit in 15. So I wouldn't be surprised. Again, we clear this area at about $114, and I think it's a pretty, not a completely clear shot. There could be some stuff around like 135. It bounced around this area, but my ultimate price target for Novavax, when I'll feel comfortable closing out a decent amount of my position, will probably be around the 150 mark. Okay, so Inovio, let's keep this moving. Let's go to a more digestible chart. Okay, so Inovio, okay, so it's a good sign, very good sign. Obviously, again, today, guilty by association in the best of ways. It did break this downtrend that it has set since late June, since 25th. It has, it's a very rough downtrend, but Inovio, has been trending down. I was very hesitant on Inovio when it did see this significant crash. I thought we might have come back all the way down to like the $17 region, and which we pretty much did. Like, we bounced off $18 and you see a nice recovery. But again, this sector moves in unison. One sees green, the others will see green. Inovio, and over the course of this day, like, these did all pop a little bit. So I want to go actually show you guys this. Like, we'll go to like the 5-minute time frame. Okay, so this 13th, this was today. Okay, so almost all of the stocks within this sector did this today. And again, the general equities, this is about the same time that a lot of equities did tank over the course of the day. So you see this, you guys, and it's always around a specific time. So like for me, it is like 7:50, 8:30. You always notice a pullback, or not always, you guys. Again, I'm saying always. I say this stuff sometimes, but you see this enough of the time for me to feel confident talking to you guys about this. A lot of the time, like 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. Hawaii time. Remember, I live in Hawaii, so it's going to be drastically different for you guys most likely. Around that time, like an hour and a half or so, maybe 2 hours prior to market close, you always see a jolt in the opposite direction. If the market's going up, you'll likely see a pullback around that time. If the market's going down, you'll likely see a bounce up around that time. Okay, so keep that in mind. Again, it doesn't happen every time. Happens enough for me to talk to you about it. Okay, so around that time at 7:55, we saw a pullback in almost all these stocks. So they all saw, again, Vaxart was up 60%. Vaxart actually saw the least of it. Moderna was up like 20%, pulled back to like 14. And then the reason I'm talking about this right now is just because if you want to trade this, if you want to maximize a position over the course of the day, like especially with stocks seeing such crazy gains like Inovio did today, like all of these did today, like just know that around this time, especially if something's just going straight up and looking so bullish, usually it means that a lot of traders are going to want to close out their positions, exit, like take some profits off the table, which is what I do as well sometimes. So like I did this with all of these today. Like I sold. Not exactly right here. I probably sold the majority of my positions around, I would say like a conservative estimate is like this area. So you're never, I mean, you can obviously catch the top. It's very hard to catch the exact top, but just get in around somewhere you feel comfortable and then sell, like reduce your position somewhere around this area whenever you feel necessary. But always, again, remember like 7:30, 7:50, whatever time it is for you, like an hour and a half prior to market close. Dump a little bit of your position and then rebuy right before the market's about to close, because it's likely that it'll see a pullback. Again, not every time, a lot of the time though. Okay, so we'll end it off with Sorrento. Poor Sorrento did not see much love today, which is a bummer. It was actually surprising considering even like if the sector didn't do too well, it might be that the rest of the sector was just looking so exciting. People wanted to sell some of their Sorrento position and get exposure to some of these other players, which makes sense to me. But I'm still very bullish on Sorrento. Let's take a look at the 6-month chart, zoom out a little bit. Man, sorry, I probably shouldn't have looked at the 6-month, but I mean, Sorrento's still following this beautiful upward channel. Like today, honestly, didn't faze me at all. I didn't even think about reducing my Sorrento position. Worst case scenario, it comes and bounces off this line of support down around the 750 region. But I mean, if you see momentum in the rest of the sector, I would personally be very surprised to not see Sorrento like. I definitely think tomorrow and over the rest of this week we'll see a lot of green for Sorrento. And again, I didn't even hesitate. I didn't think about reducing my position at all. I still have a very solid Sorrento position. Unfortunately, it didn't perform as well as the rest of the sector, but I definitely think that it will catch up. So my money's on that. Always know that, you guys. I think we will call it here. Actually, well, obviously, I talk about this so much that I forget to cover it. But sorry. So Sorrento, my ultimate price target is about $10.60. I think it'll just continue to follow this channel up, and we will zoom out. I'll show you guys why I think that, and then we will close this video out. Okay. So the reason that is my price target, you can see it's kind of hard to see here, but this is the channel right now that we're talking about, and then this is my ultimate price target. So it's just above this previous high that it set back in May. Again, I think if you see another run up in a lot of these, it would be surprising to not see them break at least their previous high, at least by 10-20%. So again, it set this previous high back in May at about $10, and then this candle back in February of 18 was at about 1070. I think we go back a little, we see another, yeah. So back here in November of 2015 as well, we saw that exact candle at about 1070. So my current price target for Sorrento is 1070. That still leaves a lot of room for growth for Sorrento, considering it's only at 770. Market cap of 1.5 billion, still smaller than a lot of these other players as well. So very bullish on Sorrento. Again, they're if you don't know this, they are taking a multi-pronged approach to COVID. So they're trying for a vaccine, they're trying for treatments, they're trying for testing kits. So they're really trying to attack every angle of this virus. So that makes me bullish on Sorrento. I'm still super bullish on Sorrento, both fundamentally and technically. So again, I'll keep you guys posted with all these super exciting times in the sector, you guys. I'm super pumped to be sharing this experience and hopefully some of these gains with you guys. And again, thank you guys just so much for watching and choosing to experience this with me. All right, so we'll call it there. One more thing. If you guys want to know exactly how I'm trading, what my positions are within these companies and these stocks, how I'm trading them on a daily or weekly basis, check out my complete portfolio daily newsletter. First link in the description. It's exactly as it states, complete breakdown of my entire portfolio, call options, put options, stock positions, cryptos if you're into it. And along with that, I do send out a daily newsletter during market hours of every trading day, talking about the trades I made, rationalizing my thoughts, and just giving you guys my take on the markets as a whole. Okay, so more real-time updates from me. Check it out if you're interested. If not, no worries at all. We'll actually call it there, guys. So again, thank you so much for watching. Exciting times. I'll keep you guys posted. Until then, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.